entitled to free lure, and that's only if you're attacked. But if you want to attack someone else, you can forget it. Okay? And so these lies go unchecked, and there are no retractions. And the people believe here everything they read in the newspaper. They sit religiously. I think the Swiss news comes on around 7 o'clock. Religiously, they sit there and watch the Swiss news. And whatever the Swiss news tells them, it is also godlike. It's as if it's written in the Testament, in the Bible. It is very worrisome that an entire country is, that many of its inhabitants, we're not talking about foreigners, probably the foreigners that live here in Switzerland are watching their own channels or believing what they want to believe on how they grew up and what they've been told about birds and wildlife and so forth. And you know, I know that Turkish people do have an affinity for pigeons. This I found out from several Turkish people. And in other cultures, and Muslim cultures, oriented cultures, birds have a different place and meaning in their lives. Like a dog is considered dirty, so dogs live outside. They're not allowed in the house in certain Muslim cultures. But a bird is different. A bird is looked at in a different way. Perhaps it has to do with the relationship of Muhammad with birds. I have no idea. It's something I need to research. I'm just talking off the cuff here, trying to extrapolate. But yes, it is interesting that I haven't been able to change this entire city of 18,000 people, where most of them dislike birds, think of birds in a negative light. Either they have no thoughts on it at all, they don't want to kill them, but they don't like them, and then the other ones who just outwardly would like to see them all disappear and be annihilated, okay, because they just think they're dirty, and they poo in their car and the buildings, and they don't want it. They just as soon see, you know, all the wildlife, the hedgehogs, everything here that gets into anyone's way. A hedgehog gets into their garden, they want it dead. Okay, if it digs up their plants. If a bird poos on their car, they want it dead. Okay, and I haven't been able to change that, and I know I never will. I'm just one person, but there are many other people that I brought the plight of these animals into the forefront. Okay, and if I could ever get a film, I keep going back to this over and over like a broken record. But if I can ever get the time to sit down and try to find someone to do a documentary on this whole story here, because it is an interesting story, because it's just not about the relationship of the people here and the mentality and how that plays into the birds, and how they look at the birds, and you know, what's going on with them, with the habitat loss and being put under, you know, duress with a pesticide. We know in this own field they put dangerous fertilizers here. Oh, here's our little Charlie. Hi, little guy. Hey, baby. Come here. Come here. There, needs an egg here too. Look, there's egg. What's some egg? There you go, honey. Whoa! He didn't get very much there, did he? I think I'll take some of this sausage and so forth away, so I have something left to put on the car, and some cheese. I'll leave some here. Okay? If we can find it here. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, because it's in a nutshell, what this is all about. It's about me and the people here who love the birds, about trying to save the wild birds save the wildlife due to all those other reasons I've been talking about over and over again, versus the annihilation of wild birds and wildlife in this area along Lake Constance. It is about that. It's as simple as that, really, when you want to condense it into one sentence, right? Save or destroy. And that's what it comes down to. Oh gosh. Well, like I say, oh, there's a couple more bees. But I don't think crows eat honeybees, but you never know. There's Mr. Fatzer, the one who sprayed poison here on the edge of the sidewalk to kill as many dogs as he told me as he could. Well, I shut that down 2 years ago, but all the years he's been working here, we have no idea how many dogs he's poisoned and gave cancer to. So, and cats and foxes and other wildlife. So, but yeah, it's unbelievable. So no, I haven't been successful in that. But if I get the story out in the open, I think these birds and the ones who were poisoned and the ones who were shot and the ones who starved to death will have a voice. They'll continue to live in the plight and their plight of trying to survive in a city like this, in a progressive city that cares anything for the birds or wildlife, okay? By the way, they set aside land along the lake in the Seymour Park, but they don't want you feeding there. If the maintenance people see you feeding birds, ducks in the little ponds or whatever, they come right after you. So but the land is set aside not for the birds, okay? It's set aside for the humans to enjoy, to have their picnic, to swim in the lake. It's set aside for that. It's not set aside for the birds, okay? Or wildlife, right? So that's what it's all about. It's always about the humans, okay? And that's why we have so many species that have been annihilated and extinguished on this planet in a relatively short amount of time. In the last 50 years, I have to go Google that and find out how many species we have lost. And I know that it's in the tens of thousands. That I know. So, yeah, there we go. There we go. It's Saturday. What can I say? Yeah. I know there's one underlining thread that all these people have who attack me and scream at me. They're rather primitive. Their mentality, they're rather primitive. The primitive language, primitive way of expressing themselves, and also what they have to say. That's one common thread that they all have. And aggressive, extremely aggressive, okay? No one ever got anywhere with aggression, okay? So, and believe me, every war ends with a treaty, okay? In other words, it comes to an end when it's finally reconciled, okay? And, you know, it all ends that way. And wars have not brought anything. Many, many wars have not. In fact, I can't think of any war that's brought anything good. War is not a good thing, okay? It's just another form of aggression, and you could translate it right down to these people who hate the birds. It's all about that. So, It's on a small scale, but like I say, I've always called this whole thing of feeding the birds here on this field bird wars. Bird wars is like a war, right? So anyway, I got to get going. I'm going to wait for Charlie to come down, and I don't want to be attacked anymore, so I think I better get in the car. This is DC Danton Crow Crusader wishing you a great Saturday, and tomorrow's Sunday. I have no idea what that will bring, but we'll hope for a good day. This is DC Danton Crow Crusader, ever vigilant, protecting wildlife and wild birds and my beloved crows. Okay? Wherever I go, I support my crows. Okay? Because they're probably the most beat on of all species of wild birds on this planet. Although they are equal in intelligence to certain primates which come underneath us on the totem pole of intelligence. So they're as intelligent as an 8-year-old child. So if you took your 8-year-old child and pinned him against a crow, he's not any more intelligent. So, and that's what you have the people trying to destroy here across the globe. So, this is DC Danton Crow Crusader wishing you a great Saturday, and we'll see you this evening after the shopping center is closed and all these idiots are watching their Swiss news. Okay.